With Mega Evolutions returning to Pokemon, what better time to rank every single Mega Evolution from worst to best? We're gonna simplify it into a tier list this time, so let's jump in. Starting it off with what might be a hot take. Manectric is all the way at the bottom of D tier. I'm honestly not a huge fan of Manectric anyway, but its Mega is, well, let's be honest, it looks pretty dumb. Turning its whole body into the cartoony lightning bolt was a bit much. They definitely should have just given Manectric a normal evolution instead. Next is Audino. Now, I don't hate Mega Audino, it's just completely forgettable and really wasn't necessary. Mega Slowbro is an interesting one. I love regular Slowbro so much, but man, this Mega just looks really stupid. Funny idea, but I'm not a fan at all. Now, Abomasnow is admittedly pretty bad, but I don't know, it just does nothing for me, really. So many Pokemon deserve Megas so much more than Abomasnow. And finishing off at the top of D tier is Kangaskhan. The little baby Kangaskhan is adorable, and yes, parental bond is broken, but why is this a Mega? They should have just made the baby its own Pokemon. That would have been much better. And to lead off the tier of Megas that I actually kind of like, Sableye is in C tier. The big gem is a bit much for me, but the actual Sableye's design I think has improved quite a bit. And next is Aerodactyl. Look, I appreciate a good beard as much as the next guy, but that just looks off. All jokes aside, Mega Aerodactyl is pretty awesome. The spikes everywhere else look really good and make it more menacing, but like I said, something about it seems kinda off. Now, Lopunny. Why did they give this thing a Mega? We all know the answer. But anyway, yeah, slapping the fighting type on it and jacking up its attack stat does make it a lot better for sure, but I still wish it didn't exist. Up next is Medicham. I've never been a big fan of Medicham until my recent run of being the first person on YouTube to beat Base Diamond and Pro with only fighting types, where it grew on me for sure, but admittedly I've never used its Mega, but it does look pretty cool, so middle of C tier. Scizor is somewhat of a surprise in C tier. Regular Scizor is one of my favorite Pokemon overall, and its Mega is also really cool, but honestly I think the base form just looks quite a bit better. And topping off C tier is Latios. Okay, both. They're pretty cool, I guess. I don't have much else to say about them other than I like their normal forms much better. And starting us off at the bottom of B tier is Mega Mewtwo X. It's definitely awesome. I like it a lot, but I think its base form and its other Mega are just straight up better. So I can't discount how cool it is, and it lands at the bottom of B tier. This one may upset some people, but right next to it is Mega Gardevoir. Look, Gardevoir is awesome, and Shiny Mega Gardevoir is even more awesome. Once again, I like normal Gardevoir better, so B tier. Up next is Camerupt. It definitely makes sense for how a Mega Camerupt should look, and I mean sheer force with a 145 special attack is pretty nuts, but it's okay. This one may surprise you, me being a Gen 1er at all, but Mega Venusaur is here in B tier. Thick Fat is an amazing ability for sure, and I love the way it looks, but it honestly just doesn't look all that different from regular Venusaur, so I can't justify putting it higher. Now Mega Ampharos, I love it. Why does it have flowing locks now, and why is it a dragon? I just don't get it at all here, but I love this goofy little weirdo with its 165 special attack. Mega Glalie is next, and I don't know. I don't have much to say about it. It's pretty cool. That's about it. Kind of the same story with Mega Diancie. It's a literal chandelier with 700 base stat total. Why? Now, the top half of B tier was tough. A lot of cool Megas that just fell short of A tier. First of which is Mega Salamence. Has anyone read the Pokemon Sun Dex entry for this? Holy it is obviously incredible in battle, but its design just doesn't make sense. Like, how is it flying? And next is Heracross. I love regular Heracross. Bug is actually my favorite type, and this design makes perfect sense, but nothing special, so B tier. Where kind of for the opposite reason, we find Pinsir here as well. Too much. That thing is terrifying. Awesome, but terrifying. The thing of actual nightmares for some poor little 10-year-old out there playing Pokemon. Sharpedo also falls to B tier. My main complaint for Sharpedo for all these years was that he was too short. And hey, they finally gave him some length. It's pretty cool, but he doesn't do all that much for me. And for Garchomp, why did it get sights? It went from menacing land shark dragon, which is awesome, to is that the Grim Reaper? Next is Alakazam, going full on enlightened monk, giving it a great beard, oh, and absolutely busted stats is great. but I do prefer the OG for sure, so that keeps it from A tier. Now coming in at the very top of B tier is Mega Tyranitar. I do prefer normal Tyranitar, but this thing is still really awesome. I love the creepy face design on its chest, and actually making its dark typing make sense is nice. Moving up to A tier, just squeaking in is Mega Gengar, who is also really awesome and finally gave Gengar a good shiny. I like it a lot better than base Gengar, who in my opinion is just slightly overrated. Up next is Aggron. Now this thing is bad. It finally gets the pure steel typing that it always should have had. Then with the filter ability on top of it, absolutely awesome. Easily deserves to be an A tier. And so does Mega Gyarados. This thing is incredibly awesome and monstrous and all of those good things, but man, why didn't they give us a water dragon Mega Gyarados? Dark still makes sense with the whole rage thing, but I think we all wanted it to be dragon. Mega Swampert. Look at this dude! An absolute monster, and I love it. Still has the cute little axolotl face on the massive body. It's hilarious. Up next is Mega Mawile. Steel Fairy is arguably the best type out there, and I absolutely love this design. Mawile was always kind of weird and boring in my opinion. I never cared for it, but this Mega is so awesome. The pink is much more eye-catching, and then the crazy intense mouth things are so cool. Now for Mega Altaria, I'm glad it finally got the fairy type, but why Dragon Fairy? They should have given Altaria the Clefable treatment and just straight up switched it to Fairy Flying in Gen 6. But regardless, it's still just a really great and adorable design. I like it a lot. Up next is Lucario. Lucario is my second favorite Pokemon of all time. So original, I know. So that kind of takes away from the Mega a little bit for me. Don't get me wrong, the Mega is still incredibly cool and it's still Lucario, so I love it. I like how its design didn't change too drastically, it just looks like a Lucario that's really been through some alongside Mega Mewtwo Y, which is obviously insanely strong and awesome and should probably be an S tier, but Radical Red has scarred me for life, so it's staying in A. And so is Mega Houndoom. It just took all the cool Hellhound aspects of Houndoom and made them more exaggerated. Nice. Now this one was tough. Mega Beedrill. Design-wise, this thing is insanely cool and frankly terrifying. I wanted to put it in S tier, but it's still just a Beedrill, so I think high A tier is fair. Now for the peak Mega Pokemon designs, we have S tier. Starting with Mega Blastoise. And I'll always have a soft spot for the Kanto starters, but dude, let's be honest here, Mega Blastoise is so cool. Granted, it should have gotten the steel typing, but still. Dude has a giant cannon on its back, and it has Mega Launcher. That's awesome. And up next is Seto Kaiba, I mean Gallade. But in all seriousness, Mega Gallade is really cool. Takes all the great design aspects from Gallade and just improves on them. Easy S tier. And for those exact same reasons, so is Absol. I don't think I really need to explain further. Up next is Mega Blaziken. This thing is so awesome. If you watched my Fire Starters video, you know that I'm really not a fan of the Blaziken line. I think they're kinda weird and boring, but Mega Blaziken fixes all of those issues. The Fire Wisps are cool, the hairstyle is a lot cooler and way less stupid looking, the color scheme looks better, all around massive improvement. And for somewhat similar reasons, up next is Mega Sceptile. Now I love regular Sceptile, it was in the top 3 in my Grass Starters video, but the Mega once again just improves on all of the existing design aspects. Oh, and obviously adding the Dragon type was perfect. Now for Metagross, I don't think I really need to explain here. I think we can all agree that Metagross is arguably top 5 Megas, right? Okay, cool. Moving on to what's most likely gonna be a controversial pick, Mega Pidgeot. Ever since I was a little kid, Pidgeotto specifically has always been one of my favorite Pokemon and still is. However, that left Pidgeot in a strange place. I never really cared about Pidgeot. I couldn't tell you why. It's obviously super similar, but Mega Pidgeot is so much cooler. I don't know, but I love this massive bird. The colorful and like in-your-face headdress, the blue tips, I love it. Now this one is always controversial. It's Mega Charizard X. Everyone either loves Charizard or hates it. So go ahead and duke it out in the comments and I'll see you there. But come on, finally giving it the dragon typing, the black color scheme, the blue fire, how could you possibly argue that this isn't awesome? Next, once again, is a shoo-in. And what most people probably expected to be number 1, it's Mega Rayquaza. Once again, I really don't think this one needs any more elaboration. So on to the number 2 spot, it's Mega Steelix. I honestly thought this would be much lower when I was first making the list, but man, the more that I look at it, is Is this not the perfect idea for a Mega design? It doesn't stray too far from the original, but it adds some awesome new elements that perfectly. Easy S tier. And that leaves us with only the number 1 spot for, get your angry little fingers ready, it's Charizard Y. I've preferred the Y Mega over X since they first released, and I think its design is absolutely perfect. I wish this was just how Charizard looked. Let me know what I should rank next and check out the ones you've missed. See ya.